Hey, Sully, how are you today?
I just hit the post. We're off to a bad start with the second hour, so
we'll try to fix that.
We got to clean things up here a little bit. So
all right.
Let's talk some football to start off with. And exciting game, especially for Ocean City fans. Last night, they stopped a 12-year losing streak to rival Mainland, and neat to see. I mean, it was kind of interesting. As those boys were running over to the student section after the game, I heard one guy say, "Hey, that's what high school football is all about, right there." I mean, they may be 3-3. It might not have meant a whole lot to anybody outside that stadium, but it meant a lot to those players and that team.
Yeah, like I kind of wrote today in the Press of Atlantic City on the line in the story that the Ocean City Mainland rivalry is obviously one of the Cape Atlantic League's biggest rivalries in every sport, and in football it might be the biggest in football. And I was at Mainland 20 years ago when Ocean City and Mainland were undefeated, and I think they were number 1 and 2 in South Jersey, and they played that game. And last night's game, even though both teams are kind of trying to reestablish their winning tradition, meant just as much to the players on the field, and the rivalry meant just as much to the players on the field last night as it did to those players when the two teams were undefeated 20 years ago. So it was a great scene. And the other thing I thought was great about it was two really, you could tell how much it meant to the schools. I mean, two of the most enthusiastic and biggest student sections I've seen at games this year by Ocean City and Mainland. So you can see that even though the teams might, not struggling, but trying to reestablish themselves as winning programs, you could tell what that game meant to the students and the players last night.
And one thing that really struck me as I was thinking about it, 12 years to guys like us isn't that big of a deal. It's kind of a blink of an eye in some respects. But
speak for yourself,
But it does go by quickly the older you get. But when you think about these kids that are 17, 12 years ago, they were in kindergarten. I mean, that was
right.
most of their life has gone by, and they haven't seen Ocean City beat Mainland. So when you think about it that way, that even puts another cherry on top.
Exactly. When someone said it to me last night, you sort of find it hard to believe that it's been 12 years since they had won on the field. Of course, Mainland beat Ocean City in 2010 and had to forfeit that win for using an ineligible player. But still, since Ocean City had beat Mainland on the field, like you said, if you're a 17-year-old senior on the team, you were in kindergarten the last time Ocean City won that game. If you're a 15-year-old fresh sophomore, you were 1 year old. So it's crazy that it's been that long. And obviously, Ocean City has now won 2 in a row. They play Lower Cape May next Friday night. They're 3-3, and they ended one streak with the win over Mainland, and now they're trying to end another streak and try to qualify for the playoffs for the first time since 2008, which is an 8-year gap. So they're right on the cusp with that win last night of qualifying in South Jersey Group 3. 2 tough games coming up, Lower Cape May next Friday and St. Joe the week after. So we'll see, where that takes them. But Ocean City now with a chance, kind of right on the periphery of the South Jersey Group 3 playoff outlook with that win last night. Mike,
how apprehensive should teams be about playing Millville this time of year? I mean, what a win last night, 54-0 over Bridgeton. And it seems like the Thunderbolts are hitting their stride at the right time.
Well, I've been on the Thunderbolts all season long. I mean, they're in our Press Elite 11. I believe they're number 10. They're now 5-1. I've said, with guys like Zach Douglas at linebacker, Clayton Scott at running back, who had a big game last night, Marcel Ramos at wide receiver, the quarterback Tristan Harris has played well this season, and I thought, coming off last season where they nearly upset Cherokee in the South Jersey Group 5 playoffs. Now they're 5-1. The only loss is to St. Augustine. In the second half of that game, they actually played pretty well against St. Augustine. They might have given St. Augustine, their best half of football so far this season in the second half. So, I think Millville is a team to watch in South Jersey Group 5. Obviously, in a little bit of short conference news, Toms River North really beat up on Middletown South last night. Toms River North is the defending South Jersey Group 5 champion. Middletown South is a traditional short conference power. Those teams were thought to be kind of 1 and 2 in the short conference. And Toms River North won that game in dominating fashion last night. So they're kind of the clear-cut favorite in South Jersey Group 5. But Millville, kind of right there at 5-1 in South Jersey Group 5. And like you said, with an impressive win over Bridgeton last night. I think it was 54-0. So,
talking with Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, big game today. Cedar Creek traveling out to Hamilton to take on St. Joe at 1 o'clock. How do you see this game breaking down? It's kind of a tale of two different styles of football.
Yeah, it's kind of the defense of St. Joe against the big play capability of Cedar Creek. Though Cedar Creek is coming off back-to-back shutouts of Mainland and Buena Regional, so their defense is certainly nothing to sneeze at. And with Rutgers recruit Owen Bowles in there at nose guard, occupying blockers and wreaking havoc on the offensive line. So I like you said, I think it's a real interesting game. It'll be interesting to see if we see a healthy Cedar Creek today. I'm not so sure, even though Cedar Creek is 5-1, if we've seen a healthy Cedar Creek all season. Bo Melton kind of banged up in the preseason. Has not, has looked good in spurts, but I don't think he's been fully healthy all season. Isaiah Watson missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a healthy Cedar Creek out at Hamilton today. St. Joe coming off a bye, 5-1, really being carried by its defense this season. Elijah Hardy up front, Mike Massioli at linebacker. It's really the defense that's been the heart of the St. Joe team this season.
I'll tell you what, I like that Massioli kid. He's a heck of a player, tough kid, kind of embodies what St. Joe's is all about.
Yeah, he seems to be, I've seen St. Joe play a couple times this season, and every game he seems to be 13, 14 tackles, 2-3 tackles for losses. He seems to be one of those guys that's always around the ball, and like you said, he's a typical St. Joe kid, and a kid that's kind of leading a St. Joe defense that has really carried the team so far this season. St. Joe, obviously has talent at the skill positions. Quasi and Townsend, outstanding fullback, but with the graduation of the Horn brothers, they're maybe not quite as explosive as they've been in the past, but defensively, St. Joe is every bit as good as they've been the past couple seasons.
Mike, what do you make of Pleasantville? I mean, they have a chance to be 6-2 at the cutoff date. They're going to have to go down on the road today and take on Lower Cape May in a little bit of muck down there as we're getting some rain this morning. But what a great story for these guys to come off back-to-back 0-10 seasons and now have a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, obviously, again, I've sort of sang the praises of Coach Chris Sacco there, and again, we had the story did a story in the Press of Atlantic City on Friday talking about the benefits of the move to the West Jersey Football League for teams, and Pleasantville, is obviously one of those teams that has benefited. They're getting a chance to play programs of their size. They're getting a chance to play, public schools, Group 1, Group 2 schools, similar enrollment, similar, program-wise, and Pleasantville is taking advantage. Chris Sacco has brought a lot of energy to that team. The quarterback, LaQuay Outhill, can run and throw the football. He's in the midst of a good season. And like you said, Pleasantville, I believe with its most wins in 3 or 4 years, and I think they're over 500, for the first time since 2003. So obviously a great story out there in Pleasantville, and a chance, against the Lower Cape May team, that's kind of, also looking for some wins. That should be a good game down there. I believe it's the Lower Cape May's homecoming down there, so that should be an excellent game down there in Cape May today.
Mike, real quick before we let you go, some thoughts on next week's Cape Atlantic League Cross Country Championship. A lot of great teams this year, Ocean City boys and girls, Mainland boys and girls. EHT's got some quality runners, Absegami, Prep. I mean, this should be a pretty interesting race out there at the Motorsports Park.
Yeah, it should be an excellent race. Obviously, Alyssa Aldridge of Mainland Regional, defending MOC winner, won the Atlantic County Championship last Thursday. She should be the favorite there, and her teammate Emily Dirks, obviously one of the top runners also in South Jersey. Mainland the Mainland girls edging the EHT girls for the Atlantic County Championship. So that should be an interesting race. And you bring in Ocean City's Alexa Weber, who is another outstanding runner. You kind of look for those three to maybe be at the top there on the girls' side. On the boys' side, you got another more of, I think, a wide open race. You've got Daniel Doe of Absegami, who was chased home by three mainland runners in the Atlantic County Championships on Thursday. And you've got Mark Nelson, who's kind of had a great season down there at Lower Cape May, so he'll have a chance to sort of test himself against the mainland and Absegami runners. And it should be a great event out there at the like you said, the motor place out there in Millville on Thursday. Kind of a unique setting. They got the track, they got some hills, they got big towers. It's kind of a neat setting out there at the motorsports part. So obviously another great event out there Thursday in the cross country championship.
Let's hope for art's sake 65 with a light breeze.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might have run out of luck today. I'm heading out to Vineland for the Vineland AC game. I look out my window, I see wind and rain. So maybe we're heading that direction for a few days, but who knows?
All right, Mike, appreciate it. We got to let you go because we don't want to make Kevin Minnick mad. He likes his time. He likes his time here on the South Jersey Sports Report.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Anytime.
All right, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
See you later.
That was Mike McGarry, the press of Atlantic City.